Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support. The reason why he arrested this firefighter, I've never in my life seen a firefighter get arrested, mostly actively on scene. So this should be crazy.
Police officer arresting a firefighter is definitely not something that you see every day, especially like this, both of them on scene for an accident. The video that you guys just watched shows a firefighter in gear jumping over a barrier this police officer is directing him to. The firefighter is then handcuffed and detained. So what went wrong here? For context, this incident happened back in 2014, so quite a while ago now. A few vehicles ended up rolling over on the highway, so of course, first responders were on the scene. From what I understand, this firefighter on scene, Jacob Gregory, parked his fire truck in an area that police were not happy with. Specifically, this officer right here, he requested Jacob to move the fire truck, but Jacob was doing this, from what I understand, to protect ambulances there. Jacob refused to move the fire truck, so the police officer detained him on scene for 30 minutes before letting him go. Of course, there was a lot of backlash for this, especially against the police department here, but it seems like this is all water under the bridge now. I couldn't find anything about what happened afterwards. I do think that this is a little bit silly because at the end of the day, both of them are first responders. They both have the same goals here, so this just seems like kind of not the time to arrest a firefighter, somebody who's trying to help save lives.
Yeah, and honestly, it wasn't even an arrest. Like he said, he got detained for like 30 minutes, which basically just means like that was just a waste of time. All because he didn't follow the police's orders. In my opinion, that's a little bit petty, but you know what I'm saying? Like he said, they both have the same goal, so there was really no need for that.
Did you ever go down a water slide where you couldn't breathe and were underwater the entire time?
No.
Well, this absolute nightmare of a ride actually existed. This ride was called the Flyover, and it was built in 1994 at a water park in the Netherlands. Unlike a normal water slide, you would actually enter underwater and then dive into the entrance. This is already a no from me. Now, the ride itself was basically just a giant sealed tube, completely filled with water, that connected two different pools together. And once you decided to go down it, there was no turning back. The current would literally suck you through the tube and then drop you out the other side. Riders would be fully submerged in water and unable to breathe for 15 to 20 seconds, which is already enough time for most people to start panicking. But the people who rode it often said that it felt like a lot longer than that, because you can't see clearly, you can't breathe, and you're just being blindly pushed through a dark tube. Now, luckily, if something ever went wrong, the ride was designed so that the entire tube can be completely drained of water in 8 seconds, in case they had to get someone out quickly. And surprisingly, there were no reported injuries or deaths with this slide. But it was closed in the early 2000s because not a lot of people wanted to ride it. So let me know in the comments if you think you'd be brave enough to try it, because I wouldn't.
Honestly, I feel like I would be brave enough to try it, but I don't think I would like it just for the fact that you can't really see where you're going unless you have goggles, and it's probably still dark in the tube. And you're fully submerged in water for like 20 seconds. For me, there's just too much room for error. Like, if I get trapped in there, like, how do I know I'm not gonna die? Like, yes, they can drain it in 8 seconds, but I've been holding my breath for like, what, damn near 15 to 20 seconds? Worst comes to worst, how would they know that I am trapped in there, though?
Alaska 737 and a FedEx 777 came within 300 feet of each other on Tuesday when they tried to land on intersecting runways at the same time at Newark Liberty International Airport. This incident involved FedEx Flight 721, seen here arriving from Memphis, and Alaska Airlines Flight 294, a 737 arriving from Portland. When they come to the exact intersection here, I'll pause it so we can see how close they really are. If we consider the size of these two planes, they were completely overlapping at this point, with the 777 at 0 feet on the runway and the 737 at only 300. This incident was only narrowly avoided because the 737 was told to do a go-round while at only 150 feet.
We're cooked. There are 9 systems keeping planet Earth alive. We've broken 6 of them.
Wow.
That's like going to the doctor and them telling you that 6 of your 9 vital organs are failing. These aren't guidelines. They're conditions that created every civilization that has ever lived on this planet. And in 2009, a group of 28 scientists came together and they mapped out 9 specific boundaries. Essentially a safe zone for humanity. In 2023, these same scientists got back together and were like, yeah, nah, we're cooked, bro. Climate, trash. Freshwater, trash. Chemical pollution, including microplastics, trash. Land use, trash. Nitrogen and phosphorus from fertilizers just seeping into our environment, trash. 3 of the 9 are still okay. Actually, that was a lie. Ocean acidification is about to be trashed. Basically, the pressure is increasing on every boundary, including the ones we haven't broken yet. So, like I said, We're cooked, bro. This isn't just climate change. This is like literally everything that allows us to survive on the planet. Yeah, we're operating outside of that. That's basically the point of this video. We're living outside of the capacity at which humanity can survive on this planet. Period.
Sometimes I feel like humans are just a virus on Earth, and you know what I'm saying? I feel like one day we're just gonna get wiped out.
Good, y'all. It's your girl, Lil D. You thought these little heart cakes was cute? Nah, baby, these things toxic as hell. This ain't love, y'all. This straight up sugar, syrup, and regret packed in a box. Y'all don't care though, right? Y'all, these things be filled with high fructose corn syrup and fake flavor, and y'all call this romance? People be straight up tweaking for these. And that red ain't love, y'all. That's fake dye. Straight up chemicals making it look cute for you. Open up, baby. Oils, preservatives. This cake gonna last longer than your last relationship. And y'all still gonna eat it though. Y'all eat one, then another, then the whole damn box gone. Yeah. That ain't by accident. You go on ahead, y'all. Fall in love with it. Just don't cry about it when it mess your ass up.
You're already infected. Brain rot reels.
Just another advertisement of why they feed us garbage. Just another video exposing them feeding us garbage.
Remember when we invaded Iraq and killed 500,000 people because we were under the assumption that Iraq had nuclear weapons, but they didn't, you know, surprise. I think we should have apologized for that, but instead we just stole Gilgamesh, and it's probably just sitting in the Smithsonian for no reason. But this is my driver, and yeah, the world is just super interesting, isn't it? And we got to be roped into this somehow.
Primates have better vision than almost any other mammal. We can see more detail, more color. Like, think about your dog. Your dog can't see the color red. But we weren't always like this. You know, one of our ancestors had to evolve this trait, and some scientists think we did that because of snakes. There's a theory that snakes were so dangerous to early primates that our vision actually evolved specifically to detect them. Some of the evidence for this is that we've done studies where we've shown humans images of like snakes, spiders, worms, other animals, and our brains pick up on snakes way faster than anything else. And you can take monkeys from a zoo that have never seen a snake in their entire life and run a similar experiment, and guess what? Their brains pick up on the snakes too. So at a bare minimum, we are snake recognizing machines, but could there be something more? There's a possibility that the changes to our vision to spot snakes had all these other implications, like brain expansion that led to the evolution of primates and therefore of humans. That's actually what the original author of this theory thought, but it's a little bit of a stretch. You know, we are really going to the edge of the evidence on this one. But it's not impossible. You know, maybe we really are only here because of snakes.
No way, no!
What the hell?
Stop. It's not a game, guys. Something's
show,
going
right?
on in this
Yeah,
movie. This is
definitely
not real,
from a
guys. This is a movie. Don't get it confused.
Or a movie, my
but
bad.
something's going on here, guys. Look at this. Hold up. Who is this? Huh? Who is that guy right there? Remember, it's just a movie. Come on. No way. He's coming, bro. Get the hell up out of there, bro. Shh. Shut up! It's not a game, guys. Who is this guy, bro? I swear, if I was there, it would have been no. I would have laid him down, straight up and down. There's no way I would have let him get away with that. Shh! Shut up! It's not a game. Get up out of there, though, because who the hell knows who that guy is, B? We don't know who that is, yo. Straight up. Who made that movie? For real. Like, I'm kind of scared, right? Because I don't know what the was going on in that movie and who the hell that person was, but you seen it. I don't know who wrote that script. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purpose only. I don't know what the name of that movie is, so don't even ask me. Shut up. Go find it. But people are saying that means something. That everything is not just a movie, because that is just a movie, bro. Stuff like that can never happen. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game. I ain't got you. Know what it is. Shut up. But I'll tell you one thing. If I'm ever outside and somebody like that pulls it to somebody and does that in front of me, are you what?
CIA surveillance power.
This video came out 14 years ago, showcasing the CIA's
insane.
ability to track and trace
14
and
years
surveil.
ago.
This is before Palantir. Could you imagine how advanced it is now?
especially considering the word on the street is that every year that we advance technologically in public, like decades worth of advancement happens behind the scenes. I think some of their new surveillance tech involves frequencies. And it's amazing how much surveillance they can have, yet there's still so many bad guys out there, and in fact, rings and organizations of them. Crazy that they can't stop them.
I mean, I don't think that they can't stop them. I feel like sometimes they just don't choose to stop them, or maybe they're just bribed, or maybe someone up in the higher CIA or FBI has too much dirt on them that that person holds the key to their reputation. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think they can't stop them. Definitely not can't stop them. They literally captured Maduro in like 5 seconds. Easy, so.
Explaining the iceberg of ancient Egypt. First up, we have the Sphinx water erosion theory. This is basically a theory about how the Great Sphinx is significantly older than the Great Pyramids. People think this because the Sphinx's body is significantly more eroded and rounded with these vertical gullies in it that look like it had been carved by heavy, sustained rainfall. Since Egypt has been a bone-dry desert for thousands of years, some argue that this statue must have been built during a time that the climate was significantly different, possibly as far back as 10,000 BC. If this were true, it would imply that there was some sort of sophisticated lost civilization that existed long before the pharaohs. Akhenaten was an alien, so this is a really fun one. Akhenaten was a pharaoh who ruled for 17 years, and some think that he was like an alien. A lot of people think this because this dude looks so weird. A lot of the art surrounding him depicted him with this elongated skull, spindly, skinny limbs, and a pot belly. And his face just looked super weird. Along with this, he suddenly, for some reason, replaced Egypt's entire group of gods with this single sun disk god called Aten. This has made a lot of people that believe in like the ancient astronaut stuff go on about how his extreme devotion to Aten wasn't like a religion. It was rather a literal description of this hovering, shiny craft that gave him celestial instructions, and that he was being influenced by aliens, or that he was from aliens and that sort of thing. And yeah, it is really weird. He was a weird looking dude. Moving on to King Tut's dagger. This is super cool. King Tut had a dagger made out of meteorite that we found in his tomb. So this knife was literally made out of something that came from outside of our planet. It was made roughly 6,000 years ago, before iron smelting was even invented in Egypt, which is important because meteorite was inside of this dagger. Conspiracy theories propose that this is proof of extraterrestrial technology, but the main hypothesis on how this was created was that they used this like low temperature forging technique that was supposedly not even known to the Egyptians at this time. Also, King Tut was Akhenaten's son, so yeah.
Bro, y'all ever heard of Deception Island, Antarctica? This is the very first time ever hearing about this. But look at the structures, bro. Is that an oil barrel? Look at these old dilapidated homes, but look at these giant structures. What is this guy? So can now anybody go in Antarctica and explore Antarctica? Is this part of the distraction too, bro? But do y'all notice that the ice is missing? And hold on, y'all. Tell me you seen that Will Smith Pole to Pole documentary where they expose Antarctica and they say it's a desert. Check this out.
Hydration is so important out here. You know, Antarctica holds like 60% of the world's fresh water. Yet it's the world's largest desert.
So this is a desert.
Yep. It's nuts, isn't it?
I don't feel like I'm in a desert right now.
Different to what we imagine, isn't it?
In your mind, when you see snow, you assume water.
Yeah.
A snow desert, that's amazing.
See, another thing we've been lied about. Again, it's called Antarctica. It's not frozen, it's not cold. And then what is snow? Because he says when you think of snow, you think of ice. But this is a snow desert, he said. What is that? But nonetheless, the truth is coming out, bro. Something is getting ready to happen because the sun is popping off. But this is a great documentary. There's a lot of gems in here if you haven't seen it, y'all. But yeah, bro, we been told y'all, man, Antarctica is a desert. And not only a desert, but the world's biggest desert, bro. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. The shift is here. The planet's heating up. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
You know, Antarctica holds like 60% of the world's fresh water. Yet it's the world's largest desert.
So this is a desert.
When he says desert, I'm guessing like a desert for snow. Like, you know how desert usually have like sand and stuff? It's like flipped where it's like a desert, of course, because of these wide, massive lands filled with only snow.
You ever notice? Twinkies never rot. Bread molds in days, but I just sit here waiting. You think I'm just cake? More like enriched flour, sugar, emulsifiers holding me together like glue. This creamy filling, just shortening. Polysorbate 60, cellulose gum, well, you don't care, right? See this beautiful color? Yellow 5, red 40. I'm not eggs, I'm chemical dye. That vanilla smell, artificial vanillin, made in labs, not real. You aren't ready for all that though. Sorbic acid keeps me safe. Even mold struggles to touch me. Feel that? I'm soft. Forever. I don't change by design.
If nothing eats me, if nothing breaks me down, then why should you?
You're already infected. Brain rot reels.
Found his plane. Did you see that? Plane? Epstein's abandoned plane. Where? It's in like an airplane graveyard. What the? One of the things they found in the plane, similar to Diddy. Hell, no, not even oil. Oh, what the? Baby powder. Baby powder? Hella baby powder though, like a lot of baby powder. And then there's like a satellite phone. What people are calling for is the FBI or investigators to do like a DNA test there. Oh, okay. Because they haven't. It's literally just in a graveyard site for a plane.
Imagine how much DNA is in that plane. What have they been doing in that plane?
Exactly, right?
But the Diddy stuff, did they put something in the oil? Did
yeah,
they
make, yeah, I think it's called. And then that's like that makes you in like slow.
Then probably, yeah, you can mix anything in powder, fam.
There's so many puzzle pieces that you just kind of have to build the picture together. So baby powder, okay, boom. These guys want to live forever. They eat. Boom. They want to live forever and look young. They look like vampires. Why are they so pale? Vampires, right?
In fact, a German tourist came to New York expecting a fun-filled American adventure, but left angry, injured, and seeking $20 million in damages spread across 3 lawsuits. The man arrived in New York in August of 2024, and one of his first stops was Los Tacos in Times Square, where he ordered 3 tacos and added some of their homemade salsa before taking a bite, which he immediately regretted, saying his mouth and tongue started burning and his whole body began sweating, leading to diarrhea and stomach pains. After finally getting off the toilet, the man went to Walmart, but was unable to connect to their in-store Wi-Fi since he didn't have an American phone number, causing him severe emotional damage and flashbacks to being discriminated against at school and work. A few days after that, he saw 2 men beating up a homeless person near Times Square and he called the police, but when the police got there, they refused to take his statement since the criminals had already left. His dream trip had turned into a nightmare, and the man filed 3 lawsuits. He wanted $100,000 from the taco shop since they didn't warn him the salsa was so spicy, $10 million from Walmart for discrimination, and $10 million from the NYPD for the insomnia, intrusive flashbacks, and PTSD he had suffered due to them not investigating the assault. All 3 lawsuits were dismissed without payment.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, half of those reasonings were just not valid enough. Like, oh my God, your feelings got hurt because the cops didn't care about your story. Like, oh my God, the Wi-Fi didn't work because you don't have an American phone number. It's like, bro, you're being over dramatic.
Yep, if you see an abandoned hospital with only 1 light on, run away immediately, as what happens to your life after this won't be anyone's fault but your own. People were terrified after an abandoned hospital named Charity Hospital in New Orleans had one room suddenly light up in a building that went completely dark after Hurricane Katrina destroyed its generators and trapped several patients inside for days as bodies floated through the flooded basement. And now something or someone has come back. Haunting reports show the light was found on the 13th floor, but no alarms were triggered from any squatters, no cameras caught anyone entering, and no one was ever found or arrested, with the lights still on to this day despite electric companies not servicing the building for decades. But it gets much stranger as authorities removed the lights in that room in 2015, but 4 years later it appeared again in that exact same spot, and to this day no one living has ever taken credit for putting it there. Authorities say someone broke in and wrapped wooden boards in Christmas lights, but that seems way too bright for just Christmas lights, and also why?
Yeah, Chad, that actually reminds me of this video I made like a year ago when me, my friend Sean, and my friend Jay Easy went into an abandoned haunted asylum We vlogged the whole experience. It's like a 40-minute video. I'm gonna tag it right here.
Why are you covering your face, bro?
I'm just scared.
Y'all smell that?
So we can go down this hallway or we can go up the stairs.
It just reminded me of that because when we first entered the building, there was one window with a light on, and that window was sketchy to us the whole time. But now that I'm watching this video, it's kind of scary looking back at it. So if you guys want to check that video out, make sure to check that video out. This is gonna be this was like my first in real life video I did for this channel, and I have a lot more coming. So make sure to stay tuned for that.
It's not a father and daughter. This is a husband and a wife.
Wow.
Charlie Johns, Eunice Winstead, 22, 9 years old, 1937. So I hyperfixate on random facts. So I'm going to tell you guys about this horrid thing that I just learned. In Tennessee, back in that time, in 1937, there was no age minimum for marriages. So Charlie had a next door neighbor, Eunice, who was 9 years old. He fell for her, I guess you want to say that. He wanted to victimize her. He wanted to groom her. So he paid a preacher $1, and Eunice told her mom she was going to buy new dolls, and they went and got married. And you would think the parents would be mad. No, actually. Mom literally was in the newspaper talking about, oh, why can't you just leave married people alone? Talking about, oh, he's never laid a hand on her. So yeah, Eunice actually got pulled out of school by Charlie because she ended up getting in trouble, and he pulled her out of school completely. She had her first baby at 15. I believe they had 9 children. 9, I think. So if she had her first baby at 15, I don't even want to know what this vile man was doing to this child at the ripe age of 9. To have all those no education in all those children, I can't. And the craziest part about it is they had a daughter named Evelyn that ended up, I think Evelyn was 17 and her love interest was 21 or 22. And Charlie had the nerve to have the man arrested because Evelyn was too young for him. What? Are you okay? Genuinely? And okay. Yeah. So next time someone wants to say, child marriage is only in foreign countries. No, that was happening in the good old US of A.
You see, this is the twisted mind behind people like this. You see, he knew what he was doing. That's the reason why once his daughter turned 17 and she was interested in a 22-year-old, which was the same age as him when he dated a 9-year-old, by the way. He knew what it was. He knew how twisted that was. Obviously, this isn't as bad as the 9-year-old situation. So that's why he had a problem with it. And it's also crazy to think about that. When that girl was 15 having that kid, he was 28 years old. He was definitely a really weird dude. Like, that was really weird. The fact that he got upset for her daughter liking an older dude is also really weird. But at the same time, I understand it because 17 and 22 are kind of at different stages of their life. A 22-year-old is about to graduate college, while a 17-year-old is a junior/senior in high school. So like, obviously they're in 2 different stages of their life. So it is kind of weird. In my opinion, a 22-year-old, which is someone that's about to graduate college, compared to a 9-year-old, there's someone that's like in elementary school.
Imagine a serial killer who didn't just murder his victims, but would release them in the Alaskan wilderness and hunt them like animals. In the late 1970s, a seemingly quiet baker named Robert Hansen lived in Anchorage, Alaska. To everyone, he was normal, ran a bakery, had a family, and kept himself, you know, the usual. But he had a dark obsession behind closed doors. Women, mostly dancers and sex workers, started disappearing. For a while, the disappearances seemed random, until one woman escaped. She told the police that her abductor had plans to fly her into a forest to hunt her down like an animal. And of course, the detectives at first didn't believe it. But then the police started to search his house, and they found a map of the Alaskan wilderness with X's drawn all over them, with each one marking a burial site. And later on, it became clear Hansen had abducted women, flown them into the wilderness in his small plane, released them, and hunted them with a rifle. He treated murder like a game of prey and predator. By the time he was caught, Hansen admitted to 17 killings, and likely more. He later on died in prison, but this question still remains. How many victims do you think were never found, hiding somewhere in the Alaskan wilderness? Let us know.
If 444 calls you, don't answer the phone. This phone didn't let me sleep.
Lately, I've been getting tagged in countless videos of older phones getting calls from weird numbers, and believe it or not, these are completely legit. This is the most recent video that I got tagged in, showing the phone number 444 with an @ and 2 pound signs. And after this person answers the phone, we can hear something that kind of sounds similar to Morse code, but that's not the case. So this is a phenomenon that takes place with older phones. Typically, it's going to be Androids like 2010 era Samsungs. And as you guys know, new phones use 5G, so things like 3G are pretty much obsolete, so they're getting removed. On top of this, these new phones need something known as VoLTE, which is a wireless communication standard. So because these older phones aren't able to quite understand these data packets, it misconstrues the data as a phone call and then notifies you that you're getting called by 444. As for the Morse code, I believe this is raw binary. Either way, if you get a call like this on one of your old phones and it's annoying you, you probably want to put on airplane mode and get a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Are we aware that tomorrow is one of the most significant days in Iranian history? March 20th is the Persian New Year. It's the most sacred day in Iranian civilization, and it falls on day 21 of an active war. They just attacked Qatar's natural gas plant, the biggest one in the world. Mojtaba Khamenei was named Supreme Leader 12 days ago. He has released 0 videos, 0 photos, and 0 voice recordings. Trump said on television he heard Mojtaba is not alive. Every Iranian Supreme Leader gives a Nowruz speech. It is mandatory, and tomorrow is that test. There is no neutral outcome tomorrow. So with all this going on, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Because we also know some of the biggest events happen on a Friday. Biggest news releases, some of the most significant events in modern history happen on a Friday. And that's only because, well, actually, I'll leave it to you to guess in the comments why you think a lot of stuff kicks off on Friday. But my thoughts and prayers are with world peace and that this doesn't escalate into a global conflict like many people are kind of predicting.
Well, yeah, today is March 20th, the day I'm recording this video. I'm going to release it tomorrow, which is March 21st. And honestly, nothing from what I've heard yet has happened. So maybe tomorrow morning, overnight or something else will happen, but we'll see. North Korea claims it has invented burritos. Bro, North Korea claimed they invented the burger, the hot dog, now the burrito. North Korea invented everything before humanity, bro.
North Korea claims to have invented burritos.
And then the music. This is a propaganda video released in North Korea to push the consumption of burritos. Interesting.
Look, even kids can eat burritos too.
Huh. According to North Korea, burrito were invented in 2011 by Kim Jong-il. What? Kim Jong-il? But he died in 2011. Maybe right before he died. He's like, I give you my final present to you, my dear people.
Yeah.
Man, what are those?
Okay, that looks fire though. What the?
I gotta say, it looks good. I feel like comparisons like Chipotle, that would win.
Thank you, North Korea, for the burritos.
Ed, great to see you, man.
To be fair, them burritos look tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, hey, North Korea might not be known for a lot of different things, but you know what I'm saying, them burritos look pretty good.
There's an eyewitness who said they seen the little girl walking with an older lady in the streets.
Yeah.
The police sketch of that guy saying that looks exactly like Ghislaine Maxwell.
Eerily like her. I believe Madeleine McCann's family was in on it, but not the way that people think they're in on it. They started thinking that the parents were acting very weird because their stories wasn't really adding up. Some of the things that they were saying. But then police, as they were investigating, they ended up finding Madeleine McCann's DNA, her blood, in the back seat of their rented car that they had on vacation. So then what I'm thinking now with this addition of Ghislaine Maxwell, I think that Epstein already had his eye on this little girl. She orchestrated this. She had a guy that she probably was at a location. It was like this, I need you to go and kidnap this little girl. And the parents already knew ahead of time. The parents, they both went to some diner that was not too far.
It was like down the block.
It was
or
literally
like,
across the street or something like that, right?
Yeah. And she's gone.
And she's gone. There was a guy who basically said they thought he was the one who did it. They said, we got our guy. And this is my point. I think that dude was the fall guy at the time. Ghislaine and them paid the family whatever lump sum they wanted for their daughter. Took the kid when they told him.
Took her to like a safe house or something.
You feel me? Took her to a safe house. And then that
is when Ghislaine Maxwell started. Yeah. And that's probably when the eyewitness seen
That's
her
when the
walking with her.
eyewitness saw.
And I seen some dude on Reddit was going through the flight logs around that time There was a flight that left the island and landed in Portugal a couple of days before she went missing, and then another flight leaves from Portugal days after Madeline went missing, going back to the island.
You just wrapped it all together for me, dog.
Like that's a crazy coincidence.
As you probably know by now, a U.S. Air Force KC-135 went down in Iraq tonight. U.S. Central Command said 2 aircraft were involved, and now CBS is reporting that that other aircraft was another KC-135. Wow. And reportedly, the aircraft that did go down had a total of 6 crew members on board.
If I asked you what the most common job serial killers have, what would you say? I feel like most people would say something like a mortician, someone who works in a slaughterhouse, basically someone who works in the most morbid, dark places. But what if I told you that the answer was a lot closer than you think, and it's a job that you see almost nearly every day? A truck driver. A former FBI director actually wrote a book about this, and his argument is that serial killers are genuinely drawn to this job because it allows them to commit crimes and never ever get caught. Robert Ben Rose, aka the truck stop killer, is a perfect example of this. This man drove the highways of America for almost 20 years, kidnapping, harming, and unaliving women, and nobody had any idea. He had converted his sleeper cabin into a literal torture chamber. He had chains bolted to the walls with shackles, handcuffs, and a briefcase full of tools that an FBI agent later described as one of the most refined he had ever seen in his entire career. He would pick up hitchhikers, runaways, drifters, basically anybody who was just trying to get from one place to another. And once they fell asleep in that passenger seat, that was it. And the only reason we know his name today is because on April 1st, 1990, an Arizona state trooper was driving alongside Interstate 10 when he spotted a semi-truck parked on the side of the road with his hazard lights flashing. And something about it just didn't sit right with him. So he pulled over, walked up to the truck, and when he looked through that window, he saw a woman inside. Naked, handcuffed, and screaming at the top of her lungs. So imagine how much longer he would have continued to do this had that trooper not been there at that exact moment. It's argued that there are over 850 unsolved murders along America's freeways that investigators believe were most likely committed by truckers. And the reason why a lot of serial killers choose trucking is because they could essentially weaponize the gaps between police jurisdictions. Like a trucker could grab a victim in Texas, unalive them in New Mexico, and dump their body in Arizona. Now you have 3 completely separate police agencies in 3 completely separate states, each holding a different piece of the same puzzle. And here's the problem. Those agencies aren't automatically talking to each other. It takes a very long time for them to even share information between them. So while law enforcement in all 3 states are slowly trying to figure out what happened, that truck driver has already crossed 2 more state lines and is sitting at a truck stop eating breakfast like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, Chad, it is pretty terrifying to think about that. I wouldn't really have guessed truck drivers, but now that you put it like that, I could definitely see how it would be truck drivers, because like they can move efficiently without being caught, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what she's trying to say. But my main thing is like when that cop pulled up to the dude, like he pulled up to the dude and he was like, when that cop pulled up to that guy's truck, where was the guy? Like, was he in the woods? Was he like using the restroom somewhere? Because he said he pulled up to the truck and he just sees a naked woman inside. Like, was the dude in there with the woman?